Well, hey everybody, good day. Curtis Cobb, Vlog, 11:48 a.m., June 20th, 2024. Today, about half hour ago, I got all my work done that I wanted to be clear-headed, productive. These days, I think of clear-headed differently. THC starts to look just like a frequency on the dial, where when shifted to it, thoughts are a lot deeper. Like I feel like it's not a place where I can work from an Ubuntu terminal productively in any way or edit text. Because as I'm looking at everything, I'm looking at metaphor, and I'm looking sort of at that frequency for deeper meaning in all of the things that I'm interpreting in real time. So I'm doing it now. Yeah, I got a bunch of work done in the morning. I got a text-to-speech tool working locally, so I don't have to use a subscription service anymore. And that felt really productive for this part of my day. And so then I got up, went and got some food. 11:11 on the clock. For all you synchronicity fans out there, it's just when I got up and decided to get food and start a THC cycle. So got all my food prepped in the microwave, and then I hit the vape. So I'm about a half hour into sativa, and just one really deep hit. And so I really don't look at this like party fun time. It's like, this is the time to go do deep philosophical and think about the architecture of the universe. But I'm the professorial stoner who records it so as to capture a different, let's call it a cognitive configuration. Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe this thing I'm experiencing now. The other really great thing about it is it takes you to this place where you're just not taking everything so serious, or as you're taking everything seriously, it occurs then to laugh at yourself for how high you are. So today I felt moved as I was preparing my leftovers from yesterday for lunch today to talk about a conversation I had recently with a couple buddies of mine. One friend said he was at a grocery store and he thought he was getting carjacked. Somebody mistook his car for their car and came up and opened the door and tried to get in and sit on his lap. And he said it frightened the shit out of him. He didn't really know how to react to that. And then the guy's sudden surprise at looking at somebody in his car, and then so then the conversation went to how he didn't feel prepared for that situation at all. And then to a discussion about gun control, and one of my buddies said, oh, you should get a taser. And then the conversation progressed, and then my general opinion about I'm trying to think of a way to abstract away all the details of a cool conversation to the gist of how I think about this philosophically here, rather than getting caught up in sort of the in the weeds or even the high level of conversation today, I think I stop now and I think, how would Buddha do this? How would Alan Watts do this? How would they approach that question, or even owning a gun for, I think a lot of people do it as insurance because they see a horrible potential future where somebody busts into their home and does violence and steals their shit, and potentially themselves or their loved ones get injured or killed. And I mean, that's basically the justification. So if we just abstract away the should you do that, should you not, now let's just look at it like Buddha or Alan Watts, where these are Zen masters who understand quantum mechanics before the physics community was a thing. The modern physics community was a thing. They understood sort of free will and how expectation shapes reality. If you really go into the weeds in the modern physics and you just let them, if you can somehow get past all of the proving with the math and all that to just the implications of observer effect, and then you couple that with old knowledge of like Zen masters. And so what I see when I now look at that is I'm like, I mean, I was probably erring most of my life on the side that I should have that insurance. It makes sense that because I watched all those movies that you all watched when I was younger, and all those, you know, the serial killer dramas and all of this, like we all grew up with all of that really conditioned into our psyches as a potential quantum possibility. I'll take the word quantum out just to make it simple. That you saw as like, if you divided up futures into 100 of them you could see, you saw that as one of them and you thought, I need insurance for that. I need to take self-defense courses or buy some sort of weapon that I would feel confident with. Now, the quantum mechanic, the Buddha, or the even like the modern, you know, string theorist, Michio Akaku. I think I said his name right. I don't know. I'm high. I may have totally blown that. Sorry, bud. The Theories of Everything channel and all of their guests, all of his guests. Kurt, like your name, Kurt. That's my name. If you get them all just down to what looking at future and past as like quantum potentials. Now you go, okay, so now because I saw that sliver of possibility, and it frightened the shit out of me, so I went and prepared. I got my insurance. Now, what does that insurance cost you? Well, if you buy a gun, I don't know, $500, $1,500. People are really into it. They spend a lot. And then you have to store it. Now, you have to think about all this, especially if you're a parent. You got a couple kids in the house, and maybe they have friends over. Now, your insurance has not only a material cost or a monetary cost, but now it's also eating up loads of your time and your mind. You're thinking about, well, did I protect that gun so that none of my children or their friends will get a hold of it? Well, now think of all that time saved if you just never gave in to that. Let's give it 1% for a lot of people, maybe even more. Think of what you could have done with that time. You could have listened to some lectures from Michio Kaku. Sorry if I said your name wrong again, man. Or Brian, what's his name? I watch your podcast too, man. It's impossible to remember people's names in this state, I find. If you just take a generalized view of potentials and then you just go, oh, for accepting that one, I now have to accept all of this cost in just the emotional burden, compute time wasted in fortifying this insurance for myself. And then I've opened up this wild plethora of new possibilities where I fucked up the securing the weapon, and somebody I really care about suffered for it in any way possible, even if they just blew a hole in their thumb. Now you have to deal with the consequences. That was a potential that wasn't there before you bought the insurance. So Buddha and Alan Watts, I think, what they would do is just, now those two were fucking Jedis. So they were also going, well, as an observer, if I expect that result is not possible, if I only accept a reality potential that excludes that original thing, because I just go, well, that was a bunch of ideas introduced to me from outside me, which I considered, like I do all context that comes in outside of me. And then I went, I don't like that one. I refuse to accept it as a potential state. Now these are Jedis. This is fucking Buddha and Watts, who was a Buddha, in my opinion. Would they make it a free will thing, or would they rig the game in their favor where they take, because they had mastered their cognitive capacity, set up a framework in their mind for understanding that they can influence outcomes with their expectations, and then reconcile that with all your favorite science geeks explanation of the observer effect? It's like Schrodinger's cat. Now, if you couple that with placebo and you just go, oh wow, expectations could influence the result of when you open the box. Now, Watts and Buddha, Siddhartha, what they did is they said, I expect with 100% certainty that when I open when I open the box, the cat's still alive and everything's cool. And they said, like in a Carl Jung sense, an individuated consciousness that doesn't need any outside validation and is willing, importantly, to look delusional to everybody outside themselves to say, no, I don't buy that shit. I mean, I can see how it's important context, but I don't accept a quantum potential where I'm riding that outcome. So what they did is they went, first, what you can do with this logic framework is you can go to a place where you just move past all of the, is it right or is it wrong? What types are okay? And you just go to oh wow, this insurance has a cost that goes beyond just the monetary. And do I want to accept all those other ugly potentials that just opened up by buying the insurance? So I'd say Buddha and Watts right there would just be like, no, that's unacceptable. I would never want, I would never want to open up a potential where I had to live through my insurance costing one of my children or their friends their lives and then having to live with that. No, I'd much rather be home invaded. I think that's what they'd say, but then they would take it to the Jedi level where they say, all you other nodes in this network with me, I don't accept a quantum potential state you all agree on that opens me up to that. Now, here's the thing. If you think that's bullshit, tell me what Buddha and Watts would have said that isn't that. I'd love to hear that. Thank you. Really short one today. Cheers, everybody. Bye.